a friend of mine, Rick Hines, we were working out together, and he said, "Hey, I have a sponsor that wants to do a kickboxing show. Do you want to promote?" And I said, "Well, let's do it. Let's go do it." And I was like, "Well, how do you do it? What do we need to do?" He said, "Well, I really don't know." So we were two guys that really didn't know how to promote, but it was a Coors beer sponsorship. I think they gave us $5,000 at the time back in the '80s, and they were our center canvas sponsor, corner pads, and they we basically just flung in the seat of our pants and did it and coordinated with the athletic commission and got through it. And then I would say after about 2 years, I kind of had a feel for it. And my first casino site deal that I did was up in Del Webb's High Sierra in Lake Tahoe, and that was in 1986. Don Wilson fought for me, and Javier Mendez fought for me, Francis Farley, Cliff Thomas, Brad Hefton, all those great PK fighters back in the day all fought for, and we weren't called Strikeforce back then. Yeah. In the 80s, it was just full contact karate, and that's when they had the long pants. I'm not sure if you know, but I was promoting in that era, and to me it was part of the martial arts evolution. The evolution of martial arts fighting was, I feel like, we definitely contributed in the 80s. I went to K1 in 1997, and I walked into the Soccer Dome. Jean-Claude Loyer was fighting Sam Greco that night, and LeBanner fought Rick Rufus, and had all these great fights that I loved to watch. And I remember walking the Soccer Dome going, "Holy moly, this is amazing!" And I met with Mr. Ishii at the time, and he said in 1998 he wants to come to Vegas. And I said, "Oh, that could be tough. Kickboxing, it's not that big of a sport in America right now." So in 1998 he worked with another promoter named Mark Davies. And then in 99 I ran into one of his associates, Ken Imai, who was in Las Vegas with Jerome LeBanner fighting on a fight at the MGM. It wasn't a K1 fight, it was a fight promoted by Sammy Kevchi, the French promoter. Had a deal with Ken Pelosi at the time. And so I met him, and he's like, "Hey, Mr. Ishii wants to meet with you. He wants to come back to America. Are you interested?" And they laid out the different type of deals. And honestly, I said, "No, I really have a good business." At that time, I had Alice Gong fighting for me. I had Jean-Claude Loyer, Kung Lee was fighting for us at the time, and we were kind of already on. And we had ESPN2. We had a contract with ESPN2, exclusive martial arts program on ESPN2 at the time. And so we were kind of going down the path. And he said, "Well, come to Japan and meet Mr. Ishii." And I was going to Thailand to go with Alice Gong. We're going to Thailand to discuss the Fairtex gear business. So on the way back, I stopped in Japan to meet Mr. Ishii. And we had a long conversation, and I said, "Well, I still don't think it's really a fit for me." And then he said, "Okay, I want you to do it. These are the terms." I said, "Okay, then if those are the terms, then I'm sure we could live with that." So he just made it worth my while to shift gears from promoting what we were doing to helping K1. And then I worked for them for about 8 years. And I learned a lot, and I learned a lot about the international business of martial arts fighting.
Do you feel that's the biggest lesson you took from that experience?
Absolutely. It was the international piece, because they're very good about their international business, where the fighters come from. They have relationships all over the world. I mean, I could pick up the phone and call any camp in the world now because I worked for K1 at that time.
At what point did you realize you were going to get into mixed martial arts as a promoter?
It's an interesting story because I was working for K1, and I got a call from one of the commissioners saying mixed martial arts is going to become legal next year. Do you want to do it? I'm like, So I got a call. It got pushed back. This was 2004, late 2004. I got pushed back to 2005, and I'm like, let's see, because still at that time it was very controversial, and it was not accepted. And at that time, I think Ultimate Fighter had just started or just got piloted, and it really had that kind of a negative tarnish on it. And I said, let me think about it. So I talked to Frank. I said, "Frank, Californians do MMA. If you want to do it, then let's do it, and let's be the first ones to do it." So he says, "Great." And so I put in for the mixed martial arts promoter's license, and my argument was, hey, I've had a promoter's license in California since 1985, right? there's no way you're going to give that first show to somebody else because we've been here such a long time. And so Armando said, okay, we'll give it to you. And so I told Frank, and we set the Frank Shamrock Cesar Gracie fight up. And you know, I made so many mistakes in that event. I had no idea because I didn't know about, you know, like our cage and, you know, just different matchups, and you know, it was very interesting because I was learning as I went.
What were those mistakes?
We don't want to talk about that.
We don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about that. I can tell you one thing about our cage. I mean, if you look at our first show, you'll see all these little zip ties.
Yeah.
All around the post. I mean, we must have had 1,000 zip ties on that cage just to make sure it held together because we obviously didn't know where to make the cage from. So the guy from Throwdown comes up to me after the fight and says, you know, I think you need some help with your cage, and he gives me his card, and then we order the right cage, and but other than that, I really don't talk about it.